Yes, people, welcome back to Dream Team collaboration time with Albert JTV meets Cannon Chat. Very happy today for obvious reasons, people. But before we get into it, let's smash the intro. Euro 2022. England Lionesses. Captain Williamson. Serena Wiegman's Red and White Army. It's time to deliver. And there you have it, footballing community. Hashtag collaboration time. Streaming from both channels. Albert JTV meets Cannon Chatter. Hashtag Euro 2022. Yes, people, welcome back to Albert JTV and Cannon Chatter for another episode of Euro 2022. People, England are in the final. Serena Wiegman's Red and White Army. We're there, people. We're going to the Twin Towers, man. Come on, people. As I always say, hit the like button right now for both me and Cannon Chatter. And audio listeners, you will not be neglected because it will go out on Spotify and Anchor so you can hear everybody's dulcet tones, not Dorset. But people, along the bottom of the screen, follow us on all our social medias, Twitter and Instagram. Quick, let me speak to my fantastic co-host, man. Packed show. Let me bring in Lottie Van Totti. How you been, Lottie, man, after the events of a good night last night, to say, for the Lionesses?
Wembley, we're off to Wembley. I can't wait for Sunday. I'm absolutely buzzing. Obviously being a bit gloating. Yeah, I got tickets to the final. Thankfully, the girls have made it at the moment. We don't know who we're playing because it's 1-1. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But how are you?
Yeah, not bad, man. I'm on the last minute scrounge, man. Social media is going to be my friend for the next couple of days, man. We'll see.
Did you not see that they released tickets 20 minutes before 10 o'clock today? They released more tickets.
We won't get into that now.
Like literally, there was an email 20 minutes before, and it was just like, "You're not going to give us any warning."
Yeah.
So it's crazy.
We'll touch on that. Probably after the tournament. But no, G, Penzance Van Basten Queen, how are you?
Buzzing. Just living off the energy of last night. I didn't want to go to sleep. And then this morning, just watching everything over and over again to relive it.
Well said. Exactly. Why not? Why not? The socials were doing a madness yesterday on Twitter and Instagram, man. But the Lionesses deserve it. He's absolutely deserve it. But people, we have two amazing special guests in the background. Fabuloso content creators and podcast royalty. We're going to bring in the other side of North London, but we're talking England. My Tottenham wife, Miss Agambar.
Hello. I'm gonna start it with going Mido. There you go, just because I know Lottie would love that. But no, thank you for having me on. I'm so over the moon that we're talking about England women in the Euros final. It feels lovely, and incredible. I can't wait to relive it all again with you guys.
No, Holly, welcome aboard the Euro 2022 train once again. So glad, great to get you on. And last but not least, got the fantastic, amazing Sophie Nicolau. Hybrid squad salute.
Good evening. All right, at ease, everyone. We broke the duck, quack, quack. We're in a final. Hello.
Yes.
Although, Albert, I could never do what Holly did. She's a Spurs fan and she comes in, Mido. I don't think I could go in, Harry Kane. I couldn't do that.
That's criminal. Clip it. Criminal.
Yeah. Sophie, to be honest, I have to agree with you. I would never do that in a million years.
Yeah.
Holly's too nice. I love it.
I am.
But no, looking forward to this. Obviously, we do not know England's opponents yet, but you know what? In the nicest, respectful way possible to France and Germany, I don't really care. Now, actually, you know what? I'd want the Germans in the final, if I'm being honest.
I know.
England, Germany, yeah, of course, man, of course. But let's kick off the show. So, I'm going to start with Holly first. I think the main talking point really coming into yesterday's game was, would there be any changes to the lineup? Mm-hmm. Was you surprised, or was there anyone you thought might come in potentially? There was talk of Alex Greenwood coming in for Rachel Daly, or was you not surprised by the same team lineup consistently through the tournament?
I think don't fix something if it's not broken. I think that's the thing I would say. Obviously, there was chat about Ellen White maybe not starting and giving Russo a go to start, but given Ellen White's experience and the way she's held herself throughout the tournament, I would have said no, don't change it. And I think I would say it's probably been the best opportunity. And obviously, being a Tottenham fan, I've seen it when you change it in a final and it all goes pear-shaped. So for the final, I would probably keep it the same as well.
Holly, you know what? I wasn't going to mention that, but you've given us a freebie on the the Lioness's show. So what can I say?
Free hit.
Well, Sophie, so coming to you and sort of elaborating onto the question in terms of obviously Sweden are ranked second in the world, I believe. I'll be honest, Sophie. From what I saw them in the tournament, particularly in the semi-final, I wasn't that impressed, but that wasn't in terms of me being overconfident for England. What do you think they did well to sort of nullify England in the first half?
Yeah, first I just want to say, like, don't question Serena Wiegman. You know, she did this with the Netherlands and everyone questioned her when she won the Euros with them. She doesn't like to tinker too much. And I think she wanted to have this continuity of this football that she's infused in this side, which was lacking in Gary Neville, in Phil Neville's side. Even though we won She Believes Cup, there was something about that team that just wasn't quite right. What she's done in terms of adding this belief, this passion, but also this fearlessness to go out and play. So I wasn't bothered about the fact that she didn't change it, because for the first time in a long time, we've had depth before, but we've got depth that can really actually affect and change a game. So I totally trusted her on that front. With Sweden, they're the number 2 ranked team in the world. Yeah. Is this their best team in the last few years? I think they have really great individual talent. I'm not sure if it's coming together collectively as a team. England have really great individual talent, but it's also coming together as a team. In that first 20 minutes, though, I have to say, they came out firing. They knew that they could try and hurt England early, punch them in the mouth. It felt like a little bit like a heavyweight boxing match. You know, you come out, you punch Joshua in the chin, or when Buster Douglas came out and frightened Mike Tyson, they just came guns blazing and they did not stop. And when we got the goal, you could argue, was it against the run of play? Maybe. So I was really impressed with how they had that boldness to really go out and get a goal early, because I know that they probably felt if England get a goal, it's going to be tough for them to come back. So in the end, it was insurmountable for them. After the second goal went in, I think their heads dropped, their shoulders went down, and they knew it was going to be an uphill battle, let alone when, you know, goal number 3 and 4 went in. But they gave it a valiant effort. Don't write them off. I think Sweden are going to be, you know, really, in the World Cup next year. So great team, second ranked in the world, but the Lionesses came out and listen, this coach is making all the difference.
No, well said. Let me come to the fantastic G.
Yeah. Well, basically, just going off what you said there, Sophie. I was going to ask, in the first sort of 10 minutes, we could have been 2-0 down. And someone that probably isn't even getting the credit for that is Mary Earp yesterday. How did you feel she did, considering it was basically the most work she's done in 10 minutes than the whole tournament put together so far?
It's a really great point. And you know what? The proof is in the final whistle pudding. Who did everyone go at after the game? 100%. They went to her, and I think that you saw, you know, it's so important that when your goalkeeper might be cold in games because they're not seeing too much action or they're not kind of under fire, that they're alert and they're ready. And my goodness, was she alert and ready in those opening moments, G? And you bring up a really great point. If it wasn't for her heroics, you know, and going a goal down and facing that adversity, you don't know how England would have come back in a semi-final at home under the lights in front of the crowd. The nervousness really would have just kicked in, wouldn't it? So, yeah, a bit of an unsung hero. I agree with you.
Yeah, and just quickly to Holly as well. What are your thoughts on Mary Earps, but also obviously those saves early on, but also the way that she was controlling the tempo and trying to tell everyone to calm down, and herself kind of taking a bit too long on the floor as
I love
well.
it.
What do you think?
Great move, great
It
stuff.
was good. I think she's just got such a commanding presence, and you can tell that the back line looks so strong at times because she is directing them where to go and commanding them. I think, like you say, I think there was one instance we were like, pass it around the back quite slowly, and then she got the ball, and then she's telling them to all get up. Come on, let's move up. We can get some more time up the field. And I think that's really true credit to her. And I think from start to finish, not just those 10 minutes, I think throughout the game when she was coming out for corners to grab it, to take it down, like you say, be on the floor, to do things like that, I think it's a real credit to her. And it just shows that wherever on the pitch, like obviously we spoke about briefly, we're so controlled and in so much depth as well on and off the pitch. And it's a true credit, I think, starting from the back with Earps in goal.
Absolutely.
Great stuff. Lottie Van Toch, come in and fire in a question. Mute.
Talking to myself here. This
Right,
one's a bit more for Sophie. Holly, I've got a different one for you. Sophie, in terms of Stina, Sweden finally got worked out to get the ball to her feet, and so that she can go on and do what she does best. How do you think she did at coming up against the likes of Leah and Millie?
I love this question, and I, of course, as a Gooner, I felt bad for Stina at the end of the match. Right, she's such a good player. She's been such a great signing for us. I think, she's going to have an impact, next season, full season. And I love the duel. I love it when players who play with each other play against each other. It's always interesting because they know their weaknesses, their strengths. I think, dare I say, and you guys can let me know, she's the captain, but I think Leia's gone a little under the radar too in this competition. I think her stability, she's so graceful on the ball. She never panics. And she always feels like she's in control, even when it feels like maybe her second touch, she may not get there. She always does. And that is, for me, is one of her strengths. So as much as, Russo and Mead are getting all of the press, and I totally believe that it is warranted and they deserve it, this one right here has been, for me, the master and commander of all of it, together with, I think, like Stanway, although, she got a lot of accolades after her wonder goal. I think Leia's just been really commanding at the back, and she got the better of her teammate. But part two, we'll see in the World Cup what happens there. But really proud of her, and also how she's representing as captain. And I would love to see this, you guys, right? That the Arsenal captain lifts a trophy for England at Wembley before the Tottenham captain does. How about them apples?
Oh, that would be absolutely amazing.
Holly, don't put yourself on mute.
Yeah, I was saying lots of naughty words.
In obviously with Lucy Bronze, she got her header in the goal later on in the game, but during that first half she was really pulled out of position and completely exposed us. How would you rate her game overall, including that goal? Did the goal redeem her throughout, or no?
I think when you've got a player that's getting, because I think there was times where she was trying to take on her man and getting caught out. And that happened quite a bit. And you think to yourself, hey, just slow it down, pass it back, let's go out the other side. And I think that was really infuriating. But when you've got a player like Lucy Bronze that's got so much wealth of experience and talent and knowledge, you kind of let it go a little bit. And we were lucky that obviously her mistakes or her bad touches or trying to take on the man and not working didn't end up in us obviously conceding the goal, which is fair. But the fact that she went on, got past that, and then managed to score that header as well, I think is a true credit to her. And it shows that regardless if you're having a bad game, she can still score a goal. And I think that is a true credit to her. It's just infuriating at times. You're thinking, I know we're all kind of stressed. We're all under the cosh a little bit, but you don't need to do things and take risks like that. But like I say, she managed to get the goal. So I would say that she's redeemed herself slightly, and let's get behind her because it's worked all the way through the tournament. So.
No.
Can I just say too about that, because it's really difficult when a player makes a mistake in a game, and especially in a game like that. But to bounce back like that, and also, can we give Rach a bit of a round of applause too, because
Brilliant, absolutely
brilliant yesterday. and overcame probably one of her worst games. And Lottie was on a space with me on Twitter afterwards, and we were talking about this. It's not even her natural position. And she's so versatile. She can play. She's like this satellite, this hybrid, where she can play in various positions. But to overcome that game against Spain and bounce back like that against the number 2 team in the world, credit to her. I think that she deserves a little bit more of a spotlight for that comeback as well.
Yep.
Great shout. Fantastic stuff. People, both on my channel and Cannon Chat, we're going to take a little bit of a detour because I was meant to get this in the beginning, but it'd be totally remiss to not mention the person I'm going to bring up on the screen. I'm going to get Lottie's views firstly, and I'm going to bring Sophie in afterwards. We lost one of our own, part of an amazing Arsenal community. Everybody loved her. She's very well known. I never got the chance to meet the lady, unfortunately, Maria Petri. And yes, a sad loss last week. I know Lottie wants to say some words, and I'm going to bring in Sophie after. So Lottie, come in when you are ready.
No, for me personally, I never met her either, but from the stories from the fans who have met her, have spent time with her, I know Sophie's got some as well. She was Mrs. Arsenal. She was at the academy games. She was at the women's games. She was at the men's games, and I think there was one video of her singing "We Are the Arsenal, We Are the Arsenal," ole, ole, ole. Just gave me absolute chills, and it's kind of resonated with me, like that. She's such a big character, and she's going to be missing from Meadow Park next year. And she was even when you see so few people on the BBC up there in the winter, you could still hear her even from home, and it's not going to be the same without her. It really won't.
No, lots of great stuff. I mean, Sophie, we're going to bring you in. Yes, supported Arsenal since the 1950s. Go on, man.
That's a long time, and you know, we had an affinity, both being Greek women, and she shared stories about me about growing up Greek, and you know, when she was younger, she wouldn't be allowed to go to games, and she had to overcome that. But her boldness, I think, was in, you know, the fact that she was a teacher as well for so many years, and you know, the "Come on, you Gunners" chant. I'll tell you something right now. She's probably up there saying, "I am so pissed off I'm not at these games." You know, she's probably there's something about this magic with this England team, because of course she loved the Arsenal. She loved Beth Mead, and I know that, you know, she's probably watching, and a lot of people who met her or knew her even, you know, a lot better than I did as well. She would be there. She would have been at every single game, and she'd be chanting and cheering for these women. What I learned from her is how to be a better fan. You know, sometimes when you do these shows and you go on air after post games, and I've been, you know, lit, and I've been passionate and lost my marbles many a time. And, you know, sometimes I feel it's warranted. You know, are there times where it could be delivered a lot better? Absolutely, 100%. But what I learned from her is that she genuinely had unconditional love for Arsenal Football Club. It didn't matter who was playing, men or women, what team, she loved the Arsenal. And luckily, when I was there in April, I got to see her at the Manchester United game as well, and had a chat, and we took pictures. And I'll miss, you know, our WhatsApp conversations. And she was bold, and she never held back, and she's one of a kind. And I know that the club are going to do something really special for Maria. And this was one of her favorite moments too, where Ray Parlour brought the FA Cup round us. And it was just, if you haven't seen the videos and stuff, it's just so great. There's really good stuff on YouTube with her and stuff. So yeah, Maria, an absolute legend.
Yeah, rest in peace. Lottie and Sophie, fantastic words. Yeah, I wanted to get that in the start, but if I thought, let me bring it in sort of halfway between. So people, massive voice. She would definitely be missed. But
Holly sat next to her. Holly sat next to her at the London Derby.
Yeah, I did. Like I say, I wouldn't say I didn't really know of her. I kind of knew it, and then as she started singing, I was like, I know this lady. And honestly, she was giving me a run for my money, singing trying to outdo me with my Tottenham chants. But no, she was lovely, and obviously
Get in, Maria.
Oh no, definitely gave me a run for my money. But like seeing you guys talk about her and stuff, it's so nice. I know, like obviously, it's the wrong side of North London, but for me to sit here and see how you guys talk about her, I'm actually like, wow, what a legend that is. And like I say, rest in peace to her. But she honestly, her singing lungs, I need to work on them. I think she needs to be a tip or something.
No, great words. Because listen, we talk about social. Before we come back again quickly, we talk about social media, sort of the negative side of it. We've had personal conversations, we've had public conversations about it. But I think with the past in Maria, there's a lot of love for that woman, man.
Mm-hmm.
Seriously, like not just within our own fan base, I saw other fan bases sort of getting involved. And Arsenal will do something big, so 100%. Mikel Arteta spoke about her. I know they wore the black armbands in the game against Chelsea, I believe. So, massive loss. But Maria, rest in peace, my love. We'll get you that league title soon. We'll get it for you soon.
The double next year.
Yeah, come on. Yeah. Holly, you heard
double
that,
for
right?
both teams. So let's do it.
Well, I want to throw something back at my fantastic co-host, actually, in terms of the game yesterday. I think England were very frantic. That's the first word that sort of came into my mind watching in that first 10, 15 minutes. You saw Mary Earps consistently, the back four and the team just calm it down. It's too frantic, get hold of the ball. And Sweden are a good side, obviously they're ranked second in the world, and they made it difficult. They could have, Mary Earps alert after 21 seconds. But I felt after England got the goal, and I thought Percy was against the run of play, but that's just football, so I'm not going to complain. England had far more better moments. There was far more better passages of play. Walsh was getting in more in the game, and Bronze got a little bit more confident. What do you think that was a turnaround? Who do you think was the main orchestrator behind that sort of coming to G?
It's hard, isn't it, actually? But I'm going to give it to both of our centre backs, really. Because, as Sophie said, sometimes, to be fair, I think most of these players that aren't the goal scorers aren't really getting the recognition. And, that's just how it goes. When you score the goals, you win the game, essentially. But, a lot of people have put in effort to get to that point, if they're subbed off or not. But, I think just Mary, of course, how she was sort of slow in the kind of controlling the game, but communication with Leah to then pass it on higher up the pitch as well. And I think there was times where Leah sort of would sweep up and sort of put it back to Mary just to slow things down again. Every time there was a few corners quite early on. One that they almost scored from was when Stina just hit the post. And we kind of scrambled it. It was a huge scramble to get it away, and then you could see Leah being like, right guys, that's enough now, calm it down, we've got this, it's fine. So I just think sometimes it's seeming like we need to get that first goal initially, and until we score that first goal, we then can sort of breathe a little bit, start to play our football, because we've got that cushion. We obviously have struggled, even with Northern Ireland. They came out at us, and that was the first time the back four and Mary was sort of tested. And again, it was very, very early on, in the first 5 minutes, I think. She made 2 saves. So it's just sort of someone on the panel last night, I don't know if it was Alex or Jonas, sort of said we need to absorb. We're very good at absorbing the pressure, but we need to sort of settle in that moment as well and not be so sort of scatty. But, at the end of the day, you can understand why they feel like that. And if it takes a goal to get them to settle down, then that's what we need to get done. And I think they have so much faith in each other that they know that point is going to come.
No, Lottie, before I come to you, because I know Sophie's obviously got a lot of time. Sophie, G makes a good point in terms of you have players in the team that are the headliners and, the goals. But Mary Earps, you look at it, for goalkeepers, it's very, very different. 2 key moments in the entire game. The 21 seconds, so solid crew, I know ring to it, but fantastic save. And also, I think it was 2-0 at the time. and she pulled off that worldie in the second half. That goes 2-1. It's a completely different ball game.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, Sophie, I thought England, after they got the goal, I actually thought there's a better team, and it didn't stop going into the second half either.
Yeah, and G brings up an interesting point, and I mentioned it too. Like going up a goal, I think gives them every confidence. But what we've also seen is that overcoming adversity is something that they've overcome that hump too. Because when Spain scored, that I don't know about you guys, but I was really concerned. Number one, because of the way that they struggled on the flanks. They were just being eaten alive. And number two, it just didn't feel like it was coming together. But all of a sudden, this kind of swell of confidence and togetherness. And I agree. I think that came a little bit from the midfield. Let's not forget about Kirby here, you know, and what she brings to this team. So seeing them overcome that hump gave me the confidence going into a game against Sweden that if, you know, Stina gets a goal, if oh my God, I'm having a brain fart. The captain, Barcelona. Yes, thank you very much. So commanding, isn't she, as a player? Like she can control the tempo of a game. If we're able to win those battles, I think, you know, we'll be the team that wins the game. So the thing too is that the great saves she made, I didn't think Bright or Leia made mistakes in order for that to happen. Don't you feel like they came from other positions? Because I think those two in front of her give her that confidence to be the keeper that she is.
No, it's what Lottie say. Lottie, come in, because obviously Stina didn't really get a good contact, but it got a good enough contact. It looked like it was going to go in. I thought it was a brilliant save by Earps, and I know she was in the 4 players for the E fan vote. I don't know if she won it actually. I tried to check, but I couldn't see. But Lottie, come in. Sorry.
Yeah, no. Sophie's completely right in that sense. Millie and Leah didn't put a foot wrong. If the ball was coming in, it was coming via the fullbacks. Millie was absolutely solid, and I think I said on the previous show, I just hope Millie pretends she's playing Arsenal, because that's what she does to Stina, keeps her in her pocket on domestically, and she did it again. As I felt like I kind of dropped Stina for Millie at that point, because she did call me out on that, but but. Oh no, Pop has just scored again.
Oh God, level with me.
Sorry, I do apologise. I just looked up.
What kind of was it? A good goal? Was it?
I didn't see it. I was talking.
Wow.
But they had been pushing up on France. So they've just scored. Pop is now at level with Mido. Oh, lovely.
Don't worry, Mido will get another one.
It's fine. It's cool. I've lost my trail of thought now. Apologies.
You know what, Lottie? I'll help you out here real quick before I have to bounce out, because yesterday on the space, I was like, bring on Germany, bring on the nostalgia, England v Germany, Wembley. I was having it. Maybe I was a bit too juiced up, you know, I was a bit too excited after that
the
game.
thing is, you've got to remember, we can take them on. We took them on earlier back in the year, but they're looking a lot sharper than they did in January.
Aren't they? And the best.
100%.
In the first half, they made France look so average, and of course, you know, that goal's gone. That goal has gone as an own goal now, hasn't it? Diani's goal. But I think I'd rather face Germany. I think Jess said it on our space, where she said that France could present the same problems on the flanks as they would Spain.
100%.
Yeah,
and she did definitely have a point there, and I actually thought about it after we jumped off the space. And she was completely right, because we've completely struggled against them, and I don't think I can go. My blood pressure can cope with another game like that, especially live, because I was going out of my mind at the last game. So, and I was at home, so it's going to be completely different. But it looks like there's a VAR check. Hang on a second.
Hello.
Ooh.
Bonjour.
They're going to keep it.
I've loved seeing. Today was the first dive I kind of saw, by the way, in the match, in the penalty box.
Goal stands, guys. Sorry.
Very nice. Very nice.
Sophie.
Yes.
I know you have to go. I don't want you to go, Sophie, but you have to go.
I do. I have a show at 10 o'clock as well, and I have a little report to file beforehand. But I wanted to come in and chat with you, and love you guys. G and Lottie, keep flying the flag, and Albert. It takes men to still be involved to help the women's game grow and prosper. And Holly, I hope you win nothing next season, but I think you're a lovely person.
I knew that was coming. It was fine. I braced myself for it.
When we play in the North London derby, maybe we'll have you all on the Highbury squad. That'll be fun.
That'd be fantastic.
Yeah, that would
That'd
be
be
fun.
toasty.
Love you guys. Take care. Keep
See you
smashing
later.
it.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
Take care, Sophie.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Sophie. People, there you have it. Go and if you don't know the Highbury squad already, I don't know where you've been sleeping. I don't know what television you've been watching. I don't know what kind of YouTube you've been watching for how many years. But people, go and check out Sophie. Fantastic content about Arsenal and just football in general. But Holly, coming back to Miss Agambar. And Sophie's touched on it just before. I'm going to bring her up on the screen. Again, I thought by far for me, I was not saying that Fran Kirby hasn't been good in the other games. The Spain game, they snuffed her out really, really well, to be fair. But I thought she was excellent yesterday. And again, I said this to G and Lottie on the previous shows. If people notice it, she makes some brilliant runs, man, but she's not getting found. And she's done it throughout the tournament. But I thought she was excellent yesterday. Like I said, she knits it together and, like I said, pockets of space, and she deserved the goal. You can say what you want about the goalkeeping, but yeah, she deserved the goal. I thought she was excellent, Holly. What did you make of Fran's performance, man?
No, she was, and I'm glad you said that she deserved the goal because, as we know, it probably wasn't the best effort to try and keep it out, but regardless, it stood. But the fact, like you say, she just found pockets of space all over the place. And yesterday as well, I think there was a chance where Sweden were running in to have a shot, and she came back and she made that absolutely massive challenge. Like, it was incredible. And it's that she's added to her game as well as the tournament's progressed. And I think you can kind of see it from all of them as well. They're making sure they put that extra burst of energy to make sure they win that ball back. And Kirby's one of those people that, like we said, has been adding that as the tournament's progressed. And to think, obviously, I think it was back in February when she had that obviously massive injury, to now be playing at the standard she's playing at is just incredible. It's a true credit to herself.
No, good shout. I want to come in. Let me bring in my two amazing co-hosts as well. You give me your thoughts about Fran Kirby, G.
Yeah, I mean, yesterday was by far her best performance.
Yeah, 100%
of the tournament. And you know, early on, I was critical of the time she'd been out of the game, but and you know, you could kind of show in the especially the first game at Old Trafford, the fitness side of it wasn't quite there. But now she's had these minutes. She's not played every single game fully, but she, you know, most of them. There's been times where she's come off a bit earlier, times where she's come off a little bit later. And as Holly said, with that last tackle she did, a few games ago, that wouldn't have happened. She wouldn't have got there. So it just goes to show how hard she's been working as well. And she does fully deserve her place in this team. And yeah, that they sort of said it in the post-match analysis that actually she was probably aware that keeper is not quite good on her toes. So the fact that she then didn't take a touch and go a little bit closer, she actually just decided to smash it first time, was very clever of her to do. And unfortunately, it didn't come off as well as it could have looked in the end, just because of the keeper obviously getting her hands to it and it sort of rolling over. But, you know, the other goal she scored against Northern Ireland was amazing. So it's just really nice after everything she's been through personally and over a couple of years and whatnot, that she's now getting this chance and she's going away with at least 2 goals and a few assists to her name as well.
Yeah, no, Lottie, before you might have a question, I want to ask you a question actually. We've talked about it before in sort of the other shows, and I think Jonas mentioned it in the comments. I think after the first half, England need to start games a bit better. They start sluggish in probably all of their games in the tournament so far. It's great that they completely like the game management side of it and the getting up hand over teams and sort of wearing them down and the midfield dominance. But let's just say, for argument's sake, it's going to be Germany in the final. Just say for argument's sake. I know they're still playing now, but how much of that on a scale of 1 to 10 is a concern for you in terms of how England are starting these games?
Do you know what? The fact that we take too long to settle down, it is concerning.
Yeah.
I mean, I know we're playing at men's grounds, but it should. Oh, sorry, guys. It shouldn't really make much of a difference. To be honest, yes, the pitches are bigger, but we're meant to be sort of on home turf, and we're meant to sort of take the balls by the horns straight away, and we're not doing that for at least 10,
15 minutes.
10, 15 minutes, and it's. And that is where Germany are going to have to, if we do get them, which is looking likely at this point, but France haven't given up yet.
You're right.
So, and that's when they're going to make their opportunity, especially when you've got players like Pop around, who's definitely after top goal scorer, which hopefully not. So it's going to be true. It's going to be interesting, to say the least. What happens when we go to Wembley next? Well, who joins us at Wembley, I should say.
No, it's a point. It's a fair point to raise. As much as the momentum and the build up of the tournament, it is a concern because, you know, and this is no disrespect to the teams to play, because when you get to the knockout stage of a tournament, the ante's gonna up a lot, and you're not gonna get many chances. And like I said, Spain were brilliant for 60 minutes. Sweden were very, very sharp for the first 15, 20 minutes.
I do feel like Sweden weren't themselves. I'll be honest. They
think
just didn't look right.
The second goal knocked the stuffing out of them, definitely.
I think the problem with them at the moment is that they're an aging squad. If you look across the squad, there's some players that have been around for years, and it's a case of bringing in some new talent, and which I'm sure they have most definitely got somewhere.
Lottie, come in if you've got a question, Lots, at all.
Not at the minute. G?
G?
No, I just want to touch on Sweden, actually, because, you know, I've said it before, they were in the group stage, especially the team I liked watching the most. But, yeah, it just kind of, I feel like everyone had a bit of a sticky quarterfinal. You know, Germany were very lucky to sort of get through Austria.
Yeah, Austria could have, 100%.
Yeah, and it was the same for France. They really struggled. You know, they've lost their number 9, Katoto, at the second game, and they've not looked the same sort of since that. But so I think everyone kind of had a point, maybe not making excuses at all, but the heat has been probably a huge factor in it, and the games come in quite fast. But yeah, I think they also touched on it. I think it was Jonas actually, and just said like the players like Fridolina Rolfo, who's, you know, Barcelona, she's won quite a lot this season and is probably one of the star names in the team, just hasn't been at this tournament at all. And it's, you know, you always look at it, see if that was us, and maybe you could say that about Lauren Hemp. She was probably the big name everyone was so buzzing to see, and it hasn't quite pulled off, and you do feel a bit like gutted. You think, well, what's going on? So I think they probably had a huge expectation from heartbreak of last year at the Olympics, because they came second in the end, didn't they? And everyone sort of said that this is their revenge, and it just hasn't quite happened for them, unfortunately, but fortunately for us. But the thing is as well, in the first half of this game this evening, they said at half time, and there's a couple of ex-Germany players who were touring to all the games, and they basically said both teams are playing it safe here. No one has come out attacking. So it just kind of makes you think that if they're doing it against each other and they're not going all guns blazing, are they then going to do the same with us and let us have the ball a little bit? Like when Germany played Spain, they let them have the ball the whole time. They had barely and were so patient and won 2-0 in the end. So I'm not sure that they would come out as fast as Sweden did against us. And you know, obviously I could be wrong, but I feel like it would be much more of a like let's not concede type game for the final if they were to go through. I don't think they would necessarily punish us as we may think they would.
No, well said. Let me come with it. People, as I always like to say, obliterate that like button right now if you haven't already, man, from both channels, man. Cannon Chatter and Albert JTV. What are you waiting for, man? Come on, people. Get them algorithms up, as I say. Holly, coming to you. I'm going to sort of bring up this young lady, Russo. I think she's, like I said, before the start of the tournament, I'd heard about her obviously being at Manchester United, but I didn't know too much about it. And I thought, you know what? There's going to be an opportunity to see her play in this tournament. She's been, to me, she's been brilliant. And to think that she hasn't even started any of the games either. Not just the fantastic pitch you see on the screen there, people. The back heel goal is incredible. The actual, even before that, she had the chance to score the goal. And it's a great build-up play between Kira Walsh and Frank Kirby. What have you made of this fantastic striker? Holly, man. She's been exceptional, hasn't she?
Utter class. She oozes it. Yeah, it's interesting we haven't seen her start, but like I said, I think starting Ellen White, I know she can't finish her dinner now and again, but her experience to be in the team, I think adds that other element that Russo can't do. Because like you said, I didn't know who Russo was, and like you guys are kind of talking about, you didn't really know much about her name. And to see her performing and doing this absolutely disgusting and outrageous finish after she missed a sitter, to have the audacity and confidence to try it is just unbelievable.
Yeah.
And I like
she got 4 goals. She got 4 goals, isn't she?
Yeah, something ridiculous like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing that really sits really nicely with it as well is like I watched an interview of her today when they were asking her about her goal, and she was literally like, she's so humble the way she talks about it. Like, I know there's some people that have branded it as arrogant, and I know we touched on it last time I was on the show, and that people will always have these opinions on women's football and things like that, but it wasn't arrogant, because when you talk to her, she literally is like, well, I thought it was the quickest way to do it, so I'll just give it a go. And it's that I really like about her as well. So yeah, she's honestly, she oozes class. Yeah,
she come on and I mean, instantly she almost had an assist for Lauren Hemp. Oh, she hit the bars. Oh my God, empty, man. Come on, man. But no, listen, England, like I said, game management wise, I don't know what Serena said to them at halftime. But they just to me, they just bully teams in the second half. And as you know, and I don't say that in a way to be arrogant, because obviously you were playing against the likes of Spain and Sweden, but in the second half performances, like I said, even when in the quarterfinal against Spain, when England got the goal to go 2-1, I thought they managed the game really, really well, and they actually looked like they would get another. So yeah, fair play to there she is, man. They're in Serena, we trust people. There she is. Look at celebration. Go on, Serena.
Southgate, I hope you're paying attention.
You might be. You might be at the final, probably. Maybe you might be there. Lottie, come in. Do you have anything to ask either me and G, or even our fantastic Holly? I've got a few more.
Holly, who would you like to face in the final? Because at the minute, we're into the final minutes and it's 2-1 Germany. How would you feel about facing Germany?
Let's have it. I'm down for it. I'm all for rivalries. I'm on a bleeding Arsenal podcast, for Christ's sake. Let's have it.
You're not technically speaking.
Well, not technically, but I'm surrounded by you lot. So
there's me thinking you loved us. Totally betrayed.
I'm a sucker for rivalry, so I would just love it to be like, let's face Germany.
Okay. Sorry, Holly, to butt in. We've got 5 minutes until we know Germany's going through. Sweet. 5 minutes at a time. So I'll let you know in 5 minutes, guys.
I think for me, honestly, like, cool if we play. I don't really care who we play, but if we it looks like it's going to be Germany, so why not? Let's go gun ho. Like we said, we've spoken about how well our game management is. We managed to get that goal, and then the floodgates are open. But I think, like we've all said, it's not arrogance. I think it's just the amount of talent and depth we have in the squad, and that everybody works hard for each other, because no one's like, oh, she's on before me, or I've only got so many minutes. Everybody's so together, and I think that's the thing that can win you football matches and tournaments as well. Not just, oh, they're ranked this much in the league, because we've already proven that we can beat second in the world. So let's bring it on.
Holly, you make a good point. I don't know if you wanted what G or want to come in. You make a good point, because I think Ian Wright mentioned it in commentary when he was saying that it's different if you're a player who's not in the first 11 and you're wondering, twiddling your thumbs, thinking, am I going to get on? But Russo and Toon and Chloe Kelly must know they're going to get minutes. So that is going to bring harmony to the team. And listen, I think they've been very impactful for the tournament. Kelly's been very direct, great crossing, as I mentioned before. Toon, lover, late runs into the box. That goal knocked down through Russo. Teddy Sheridan would have been proud of that knockdown to Shearer, trust me. But yeah, Toon, and they've made the difference, man. 60 minutes. You know what, England, like you mentioned before, G, in the previous game in England, I think it was, I can't remember what game it was now, but I think she brought on 3 subs in 60 minutes. I think it might have been the first game, actually, when it's still 1-0. But that's bold. This is, you know what she's doing. There's bold substitutions, and it's positive substitutions as well. But no, listen, I think for me, I'll come back to Lottie if you have anything. In terms of the final, from a kind of a rivalry point of view, that nothing against France, obviously, but I think if England Germany final at Wembley, listen, it's almost written in the stars, to be honest with you. Listen, they're going to be a tough cookie. And Lofty made a fantastic point. If you the team when the Arnold Clark Cup was that January, February time, I can't remember off the top of my head, but they weren't bad, Germany. But you know, if you look at the team that's playing in this tournament now, in comparison to the team in that warm-up tournament, it's completely chalk and cheese.
I know, 100%. And
there's something about the Germans gone.
There's also going to be that dash of like, oh, we owe you this, you're going to lose, sort of element to it. I don't know if revenge is the right word, but I'm edging towards there because we did kind of destroy them, didn't we, G?
Yeah, but it's one of those, isn't it? I feel like it's pretty much since we knew the groups were done and dusted and where it ended, we knew that we would never face them until the final. So I feel like, as much as not trying to say that we were obviously going to make it, because, you know, we want to be there, but, you know, you can't, it's England. Sometimes it doesn't happen. But just the thought of it being at Wembley against Germany, like 100%. I can only imagine the amount of people that are also going to tune in now for this. I know I've said it sort of every single time, but the viewing figures are just, they just blow me away, to be honest.
9.3 was it peak views?
Yeah, something like 9.3 or 9.6 as a peak, with 2 million across like the apps and iPlayer. Brilliant. So pretty much almost 12 million there. And that's because people knew the game was happening. But if they then know that the opposition is Germany, it's at Wembley, it's the final, I can guarantee there's going to be pubs showing it because it's Sunday evening. Everyone's going to sort of want to tune in even just to see what's going on, because, you know, by now people would have seen things on the news being said, read the papers this morning. There's no way that it hasn't reached people across this country. Absolutely. So there's going to be, even if, you know, not given anyone like that any time of day, but even those people that are against it, we all know that they're going to tune in to even want to say something. But hey, if they tune in and watch for a little bit, there's no harm in that, is there? So
no, Gee, I think you're going to get your wish. The Germans have done it.
Oh,
you're going to get your wish.
Come on.
Here we go.
Come on,
Lionesses. We want to play the best teams, and we've so far played Spain, who are brilliant. Sweden, who are the top team in Europe and second in the world rankings, and we're 8th. And why, if we've managed to get through those very different scenarios, but we've got through them as a team. So why not? Why not go out there and play another? Arguably, Germany have been the team of the tournament as the most consistent, the most together.
Brilliant.
So let's absolutely do it.
No, good stuff, great stuff, G. People, big up to the people in the chat. You are not neglected. Thanks for your input and your comments. As I say, smash the like button, and this will go on the audios on Cannon Chatter and Albert J TV. People. Not much else to say really, because I'm still buzzing from yesterday, man. I've got to be honest with you, man. I don't even know how that little video clip. I'll be honest with you. My head was all over the place. But player of the match, Visa player of the match was given to Beth Mead actually yesterday. Like I said, I was checking on the fan vote one to see who got that, but I actually voted for Mary Earps, because for me, to make a key save that early into a game, and to make that key save at 2-0, if it gone 2-1, it could have been a very different game. I might check on my social quickly to see who got it, because it hadn't come up before we did the live stream. But coming to Lottie, who for you was the player of the match?
Do you know what? It's got to be a 2-way tie for me, I'm afraid. It's got to be Russo for that. No, I can't. I'm not picking one. It's not going to happen. Plus the fact you'll like the second one. First one's got to be Russo. That cheeky nutmeg. Oh my God. I've watched that over 1 million times. It's like my new favourite GIF on Twitter. And then there's also Kira Walsh. She was absolutely impeccable again.
Yeah, some of her passes crazy.
She's just
crazy.
Midfield maestro. I love it. Absolutely ruled that midfield.
Lottie, you have redeemed yourself. You're right, bringing in Kira Walsh right at the end. That's I love them. Yeah,
I'm not choosing between them two. They had a brilliant game.
Lottie, you make a good point. If you make a good point, even when they do analysis and they like highlight the player or certain players in games, it's just effortless. She doesn't rush or move or too tough pop it left, right.
Yeah.
She's
always. I feel like sometimes she's always looking up and she's looking for a full picture of the pitch, and she just picks that perfect pass.
And sorry, Lottie, another impressive thing about her, because obviously with Spain and where they tried to get, I think it was Gonzalez and Bonmati to sort of double team her. The same thing happened yesterday with what's the number 9 for Aslani and Rolfo tried to get in there, but even still, the woman found time and space to hit some deep passes, man. That's which is the play. Walshy, hopefully I'll be there, but I've been trying to get to that final, but I tried Walshy, man, trust me, but no, Lottie, good shouts. G, player of the match.
I'm going for Mary Earps.
Yes,
on the basis of not even a minute in, she saved us.
Yeah,
10 minutes in, she saved us. She controlled the tempo. She led from the back. She saved us in the second half of them getting in the game. And she just goes a little bit under the radar just because of we could say that about everyone, but yeah, she was phenomenal, and she deserves
especially her, G, especially her.
Yeah, she deserves the credit, because it can be hard when you're a goalkeeper and you're not facing any shots for 2 or 3 games, and then all of a sudden out of nowhere, bang, here's a goal. It's I know it's her job, but at the same time, it's not been consistent. So for her to then pull off those kind of saves and be so confident, just phenomenal.
Goals change games, also saves change games as well. So
yeah,
well said, G. And last but not least, the Queen Agumba.
I don't want to regurgitate everything you've all just said, but it's going to have to be Earps again, because like you've already said, commanding presence. Even when the corners come on, and we know that Sweden was so good at obviously their dead ball pieces, she comes in, she just loops it out the sky. So I think, for her, and I think, like I always say, it always starts from the back, and she is that commanding presence at the back that goes through them all. So, but you could literally give it to anyone, but Earps especially deserves it.
Attendance for the game yesterday, 28,624. And I want to give a shout out to the young lady who's been doing the guy around the socials, the girl that got caught on camera singing. She was actually on Lioness's live actually today. So that's
I caught her just before we came on live. She was on the BBC. They've given her tickets to the final. You should have seen her face. Oh my gosh, I think her name was Tess.
Yes.
Oh, bless her. She went completely viral over social media.
It's mad, Lottie. You make a good point. I'll tell you why. Because as I mentioned before Sophie came off, like we speak a lot about the negative aspects of the socials, but I think this is the complete opposite with this young lady. And she's going to the final on the Lioness's live, as you said, on the BBC. Just that one moment, just singing in a football stadium, and it just goes mad. Like it's crazy. Oh, mate, it's good, but no.
Well, I know we get all this negativity, and I put a tweet out earlier about the papers calling the Lionesses arrogant, but it's just the case of remembering these girls. There was trailblazers before them, but they've now taken the torch from the likes of Rachel Yankee, Alex Scott, Anita Asante, and it's just incredible to see, because it's getting the attention it deserves. Because when I know this is going back to domestic, when Arsenal won the quadruple, no one was around, no one cared. We've won the Champions League, the Conti Cup, FA Cup, and the league all in one season. It's never been done by an English team, men's or women's, but we did it, and not a lot of people know that. And it just goes to show you what the growth is now compared to then. Yeah,
tell me what newspaper that was after the stream. I don't want to give them any
No. It was online. You can go look at my Twitter page if anybody wants to see it. Said what I've got said on that subject. It's not going to happen.
But to be fair, I did on the opposite side of it. I did see some really good written pieces from some. I would say some of the journals I might like to follow. But no, there was some really good pieces actually. To be fair.
Definitely, I just find that the good pieces come from the people who do watch the women's football, not the ones that watch the odd game, and I think that's the problem. If I'm honest with you,
I think it's also clickbait though. They do it just to rile us up. I think that's.
Oh no, definitely.
Yeah, of course.
That's the annoying thing. It shouldn't be about let's see how many clicks, but sadly, clicks drive business, don't they? But
they do. They do. They run ads.
No, what up? People in the chat, you've been amazing. We have come to an end of the fantastic review of the semi-final yesterday. Big up to the people that went there and made loads and loads of noise. England are in the final, their first final since 2009, I believe. So long time. And yeah, it's going to be fantastic. It's going to be a fantastic occasion, unbelievable occasion. I want to thank, firstly, my two stupendous co-hosts that have joined me throughout this tournament. Lottie, great stuff again. Plug Cannon Chatter, man. Plug them.
Well, yeah, you can find us on Cannon Chatter, although we are streaming on Albert JTV as well as my own channel. We are back on this 2nd of August for a massive tournament review. Loads of guests, lots of talk, and yeah, it's our last Euro show, which makes me kind of sad.
Oh, listen, where's my Kleenex, man? Flipping on, man. Where is it? It's coming, man. No, Lottie, it's been fantastic. It's been fantastic. Like I said, me, you, and G, we spoke about this for quite a long time, but well, the people, as Lottie said, go and follow Cannon Chatter right now, people, man, and subscribe to the channel. And bottom of the screen, Penzance Queen. G, not only plug yourself, plug your channel as well, people, please.
Hopefully by the time we come back on this show, that we'll be probably a little bit worse for wear, to be honest.
Listen, man, I'm gonna be at Trafalgar Square, man. I'll link up some of the stream. I'll link from there, man. Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's been so much fun, and we've had so many good people on here to help us along the way as well. So yeah, it's been amazing. But yeah, my Twitter is obviously at Lil Trigger too, and on there you'll be able to see details for my channel, Arsenal Fans Forever TV. Had a bit of a rebrand, kicking things off for the new season. We're back tomorrow night to go through a few bits and bobs. So yeah, just keep an eye out for that, really. And thank you all for another good show.
Cracking stuff, G and Lottie. And last but not least, my other side North London wife. It's good to see you, even though we don't live together. I still hate you anyway, but it's fine. No, for England content, it's all right. But Holly, thank you for gracing us once again, particularly off the back of England's fantastic, stunning win yesterday, and to make a final, like I said, for the first time since 2009. Tell the people where they can find you. Because obviously, Holly, you have a channel. You do a fantastic channel. By the way, big up to you for your Euro content for the Lionesses. It's been fantastic.
Thank you. No, I mean, I was gutted that I couldn't do it from the bar every game, but for the final, we'll be there once again. There should be a few more people, but hopefully my dad don't push me over this time when we score. I can just only imagine what it's going to be like if we win. It'd be on top of the bar in the next door neighbour's garden, probably. But no, like I say, thank you for inviting me on. I love talking, obviously, not about Arsenal, but it's nice to talk about England. And obviously, I'm allowed to shout Meadow at the top of my lungs on this channel, which is great. So, no, thank you for obviously letting me come on. And good luck to you guys when the season starts.
Thank you, Holly. Thank you. For great team. Thank you. For people, yes, Albert JTV. I've got my own channel, as you know. Come and subscribe. And like I said, this will go out on the audio for both Cannon Chatter and Albert JTV. But for now, people, Sunday is coming soon. Day of Destiny. Judgment Day. Euro 2022 final. Come on, you Lionesses. That is Albert JTV and Cannon Chatter. Over and out, people.